are the Tech Shamans. We understand cause we are the Tech Shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Oh, so, yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
I hate when I do that. Oh my God, that is so bright. We have no color.
Oh,
we're very blank. Oh, hi. Now you're close up and personal.
This is,
It's crazy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tech Shamans. Hey, we're missing Adam this morning.
What?
Yes, he is.
Right.
He was the same as me last week.
No, yeah.
COVID has struck again.
Yep.
Holy cow. It sucks. It is bad.
That was me the week before.
You were the week before. I was, and then my whole, the crew in here, other than Rob, everybody went positive. Yep. Which sucked. And I mean, it was one client that came in, and they didn't know, and then until 2 days later when they tested positive, and they're like, oh crap. So they let us know, and they were like, oh great, let's just jump right in here.
Boom.
Well, we're workers. Yep. We don't, nothing really scares us. And here's a weird thing is, so Dylan and Cage had the Delta variant, not the Omicron. Yeah. Because I got tired of, I'm reading my positive, right? Which I know this is not tech, but I'm just going to tell you. So I read the positive, and it just said COVID, right? Just said the COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. And there was no variant. Right. So I called, and I said, how do I know what variant? They said, well, it will tell you what variant. I'm like, well, it didn't tell me I had a variant. Then they're like, well, then you had just the normal COVID-19. I said,
original COVID.
How can it be? I don't get that. How can it be that way, right? Yeah. And she says, some people got the Omicron, some people get the Delta, and I think there was another one in there somewhere. But she said, I don't. It was
congratulations. You got classic COVID.
Classic COVID. Classic COVID. Man.
Way to go.
Right on, bro.
No, I didn't even get tested. I'm just pretty sure I had Omicron.
Omicron.
It was like Omicron. You know that.
Okay, so doesn't it drive you crazy how people are saying this?
Omicron?
Omni or Omni? It's Omicron or Omicron. I'm like, no, it's Omicron.
Omicron.
How hard is that to say?
Omicron.
Anyway, so we were down for about a week and a half, and poor Rob, he disinfected, and we had the place disinfected, and he disinfected and ran the studio by himself.
He's a good man.
Well, we have an intern that works for us as an intern in the studio, but we have an employee that works over because we're getting the Nerdosphere built up and going. And he helped him out a little bit. So, but unfortunately, there were some shows that we had to cancel because there are not enough traveling people.
Not enough people.
No, exactly. Yep. We have a big crew here. So I did not. Did I tech? I don't watch TV. I don't consider that teching. But I did not tech this weekend. I was still coming off of it. I finally got my negative Saturday. And then Saturday, because I was okay and still wore a mask going on and over, but I went to the RV show. Yeah. Because that's we're bringing Grounders back up now, and there was a whole situation with that. Now it's fixed, and so Grounders is coming back, and we really want to get over there. Some really kind of cool stuff. I think next week I am going to talk about some of the cool stuff video-wise that you can do with the RVs. So I'm just going to give a little tech thing. So
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, but did you tech this weekend?
Does putting up wallboard count? No, I don't think so.
No, unless you used a electrical or electronic drill.
I actually used an air gun for the nails, compressor running.
Well, there you go. That's old school, baby.
Yeah, I went old school. So electric saw, that was about it. As far as I got with that one. No, this was a relatively tech-free weekend, other than watching the another episode of Station 11. That's as far as we got. But yeah, that was about it.
The one good thing
Such
about
a feel-good show.
the only thing good about COVID, is well, I guess it was three things. I was on Zoom a lot.
Yeah.
I could talk a little bit, not a lot. I would about an hour, and even now, about an hour into it, and I start going downhill with the voice because I didn't have one. I got to do web work, I got to do marketing work, and I got to catch up on stuff that I'm like, I got to go watch this show. Because, everybody says, oh, it's really good or it's really bad or blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I really did I got to catch up on a lot. Matter of fact, I got to catch up on your favorite show, the Island, Oak Island.
Oak Island, yeah.
So I'm kind of caught up there. And did you know Netflix is raising their prices?
Yeah.
To $15?
Which,
well, $14.99, $15.99, whatever it is.
A lot of people are already at, the $14.99 was a premium level. But that's only for new people. Unlike cable companies, they're letting old people hang out for a while and not have to suffer the pay.
So how long are they going to wait? I mean, it can't be forever.
Really say. No, they didn't really say, but they're actually grandfathering people in, which is so different from, like a cable company where it's like you've been there for years and you see all these great prices for new people, but it's like, no, screw you.
Right.
Same thing. Yeah. That just drove me crazy because it behooved you to keep swapping cable companies.
Yeah.
And that was dumb. But
I did, here's something. Speaking of Netflix, I watched an older series on the History Channel. Businesses, that have made the country great or something like that,
cool.
like one of those things in it. But it was newer ones, right? Yeah. And they showed the Netflix when they were sending out DVDs.
Yes,
I'm like going, wow, that is it's amazing. Yeah. How they did that. I mean, they literally bought old postal equipment and repurposed it. So instead of doing everything by hand, which they used to do, which blew my mind that they literally used to send out DVDs by hand.
Yep.
Right? So I'm like going, wow, that's really, and now it's like, what's a DVD?
I know, really. I saw something on that as well, and I'm like, oh, I know what it was. I was reading a business article.
Right.
And they're talking about innovations that
you need to put your mic on this way because I'm getting the signal over there that you're not hearing you very well.
Oh, those guys.
Those guys. Those guys.
So it was just so funny because they totally forgot that they were mailing out.
Yeah.
Stuff. It's like, wow, that blew my mind. I'm like, oh, I used to get them in the mailbox. Oh my God. And what it was it was talking about how Blockbuster didn't adapt.
Right.
And Blockbuster's like, no, we can go ahead and rape you on late fees, and we'll just tolerate it because we have the best selection.
Right, exactly.
No, watch this. It's like, no, there's no late fees. Just return it when you're done.
Just return it when you're done. So then on social media, not that I'm on it all the time, but I am on it enough because we are on there. There's a new service now where you can buy album presses for new music coming out, and somehow, some way, I don't know how this company vinyl. Wow. And then of course everybody goes, nope, fell for that trick once before. I still owe them $999.75 for Columbia Records. I'm like, oh man, that is funny as hell.
You mean like Album of the Month Club?
Well, tape, CD, whatever.
But still.
Whatever,
yeah. I remember
I signed
the
up
old
for
ones,
that.
The Book of the Month, Record of the Month. But is that what they're redoing with vinyl now? Is that how you can end up owing a buttload of money for albums you never wanted to hear?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Right, yeah. So you have to sign. I mean, if you sign up for it, then you know what you're getting yourself. And when we all signed up for Columbia Records back in the day, when we got our, you get what is it? I think it was like 10 for a penny.
Yes.
Right? And then you had to pay so much money a month, and whatever was the top. In the top 10, you had to give them your genre and blah, blah, blah. Right. It just showed up. Yeah. We all got stuck. I mean, even I got stuck into that one.
No, the recent version of that is there's a model building company out there. And they show that, it's like, get the model for like $9 and just order now, free shipping. I'm like, or, pay $10 shipping. I'm like, okay, this is a pretty cool, it's a metal model of this. And so I went ahead and ordered it and I got it. And I'm like, it's a subscription service, and they send you 1/10 of the model per month.
So you can only build piece by piece by piece by piece by
And
piece.
all the other months are like $70 each.
Yeah, see,
It's like, wait a minute, this is a $700 model?
That's how they get
no,
you.
no, I'm really not interested in a $700 model.
Nope,
I don't
not at
care
all.
how many LEDs it has in it.
Nope.
You know, I'll go
Oh,
make
it
my
had
own.
LEDs?
Thanks, have a nice day.
That's
Yeah, you know how much those cost at Michael's.
Yeah, $3.
Yeah, exactly.
$1.99 for 200 feet. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty
You can go
much.
to a scene on TV place and get them cheaper than
There
that.
you go. So,
Let's get into so now this is not in the United States, right? This is in Australia that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Google claims a court ruling would force it to censor the internet.
yes.
I don't see it.
It's
censored.
Well, now hang on a minute.
Or is it?
They're saying, in this particular case, what happened was a group of people were arrested for a crime.
Right.
They went to trial and they were acquitted of the crime. And then they notified Google, hey, we want all the articles that said that we were arrested removed because we were acquitted. Google's like, but that was true and factual news at the time.
Yeah, they were arrested at the time.
And they're like, yeah, but we were acquitted, so we want it all removed, and it's defamation.
Okay.
And they actually convinced judge and jury that they were due $40 million for defamation from Google, okay, because they left the articles up.
Right.
And so they're like, see, now we need a law to protect people. And Google's like, that's not protecting people.
No.
You know, I mean, people need to know the details of these cases and not say because somebody bought off a judge or a jury, it all goes away.
So my question would be, okay, and we may, I like these because these may get deeper than we think. So my question is are they going to sue the newspapers as well that reported on it? Because they keep those as archives.
And you would think, and maybe they did, but in this case,
What about
they were
libraries?
going after, well,
No, I understand where they're going after,
yeah.
but I'm saying this is a slippery slope.
oh, absolutely.
So if they can turn around and sue Google and win,
yeah.
why are they not going after every public library,
Everybody that
every
reported
private library, every news outlet, every
Well, the reason is because when people looked up names, Google chose, through its algorithm, to put those articles near the front
well, that's what they're
instead
supposed
of near
to do.
the back.
Well, that's what.
And the reason that they show up in the front is because people are out there going, well, what's this one? Let me click on it and read it. And that go ahead and drives the algorithm to move it up the ranks because it's something people are interested in reading. And so it's forcing to the front the allegations and the descriptions of the stuff, and possibly not anything on the back end of how it was resolved, because most of the hits and most of the traffic came through on the accusations and allegations at the beginning, and not at the end when it finally, 2 years later, went away.
But that's called history.
That's
Whether you like it or not. I mean, if I don't, so say I didn't use the Google, right?
Yep.
I'll be the old guy, the Google, and I'm like, well, I get all my information. I go on to the public library and I pull up last week's or the weeks before.
right, but you have to go looking for it. You have to go day by day, week by
But
week.
same thing on the internet. You have to go looking for it. It's not like Google says, "Oh, hey, by the way,
Look
these
at our
guys
pick
are
of the
still
day.
getting these guys are still
Here's
guilty."
our article
These are
of the day.
right.
Yeah.
So
no, and that's why Google's.
I
like,
don't
wait a minute,
think-
you're actively asking us to censor things that we may be able to use against our enemies later on, and we're just not going to tolerate that.
no. So that's what we call a BS case, and this will be the
It'll be
one.
an interesting law if it actually gets put
Right.
through.
And I'll be the very one that's on the side of Google on this one.
Go
Yeah.
right ahead.
So, I mean, so hold on. So
go ahead.
are they going to, so if I go to Bing and search it and it comes up, they're going to do they sue Bing?
Well,
or Yahoo?
They already have their
or
lawsuits. That's done. Now it's the Australian government looking at the law to make it.
yeah,
so
but
that they
I mean,
have to
Google's going
comply.
to fight this, right?
Oh yeah, Google's already sent
Right.
a letter going, "Are you nuts?"
We're not doing this.
Nah, this is
But the thing of it is, it needs. I mean, what if I was Bing, Yahoo, Australian, whatever, blah blah blah. I would sit there and going, oh my God, if Google has to pay, and these people go to ours.
Yeah.
And it comes up, are they going to come after us
There's
next?
the chilling effect, and so now you see that stuff there is being
Slippery
manually
slope.
delisted from the other sites.
Right.
Okay.
And the
so-
problem is, and here's the thing, the problem is, it's not Google themselves that are storing it. They're pulling,
No, they are.
well,
Google
no,
stores the information.
they pull the link.
Nope. No, actually, the way Google works is it sends the spiders out and it makes copies of the intro text and a featured image of whatever it finds, and it puts it back into its own giant server. So those are just copies. And that's how it can search so fast. 'cause it's
Copies
only
of
going
existing articles.
You got
Okay.
it.
All right.
It's doing like an excerpt, and it knows it has in its database what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It codes it so that if somebody triggers one of the searches, it knows where to go to
But
find it.
isn't there a link
and then
in
it puts
there?
the link. But that's why you can go to Google and you go, oh, here's exactly what I want. You click on it. It's a dead link. It's because you're looking at a snapshot that Google took 6 months ago.
Right.
Okay, and
Because
so
the media
Google
never
is-
manipulates and only uses little cut phrases. Never does that.
No, they wouldn't do that. No, of
Never
course
do
not.
that.
But that's why it actually is Google is saving this information and serving it up, okay, by its own algorithmic choice. So, yeah, that's the weird thing.
Don't use Google.
There's a great idea. Use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
So,
But they pull off of. They pull off of Google. No.
DuckDuckGo, you get completely different results.
Really?
It is completely different. No,
So
Bing pulls from Google. But
Yahoo
no.
does too, right?
Yeah, Yahoo does now, but
Right.
no, but DuckDuckGo is completely their own search engine. I would love it if Apple would build a search engine. That would be kind of cool. It'd be like I'd pick up my phone and the answer would be there before I asked because
There you
I've been
go.
listening. You know. Oh, now this next one's really cool. Elon Musk and his Neuralink, okay,
Yeah.
is taking a huge step forward. They're now pulling in a medical director. And this is some pretty amazing stuff because if they can get this chip to work, its original set of functions, they've done their animal testing, it's working on animals, but if they can get this thing to work, it's going to be able to initially allow humans who have basically quadriplegics, okay, it'll allow them to be able to control a mouse and a keyboard. And I mean, we all know how much we can do with a mouse and a keyboard right now. But to me, that opens up a whole new world for people because if they can move and type fast enough, I mean, just think about it. Suddenly they are employable.
Right.
They can do, these jobs. Maybe they just have, maybe they can speak. Okay. But now they can have, full functioning jobs dealing with things because I know. In a lot of the things we deal with, all your call software, all your everything is right on your computer.
Right.
And so, I just recently helped someone open a call center. And it's all done on the computer. So you could take people and they could run their entire call center, okay, as an employee of the call center, doing the whole 9 yards as a quadriplegic. And that's pretty extraordinary. But it's the next step that I find most fascinating. And that is, as soon as you have this kind of connectivity into the brain, it's like an API connection almost. If you've got that kind of connectivity, then you're only one step away from having the mind actually controlling prosthetics. And I think that is going to be an incredible leap forward.
That'd be some huge neural links.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about, here's the sad thing. We know about the human body, we know about the brain, but we don't know hardly 15, 20% of what the brain can actually do.
Yeah. Or where it's located.
Right.
And that's because one of the current theories is that nothing is actually located anywhere. It's located everywhere. The whole
There's
thing
no
is a
one
giant
spot,
set
so
of
everything
links.
works
Yeah.
together to be able to move and
because
breathe.
of that, though, that might actually work to the advantage of this stuff. Because you put it in, and then you train your brain to think, okay, when I think, blue penguin,
Right.
my right arm goes up.
Right.
And so pretty soon in your mind, you no longer think of it as blue penguin, you think of it as your arm going up. Okay? And so that's eventually your brain will learn what language to speak to the Neuralink. Not
Right.
just the Neuralink learning to speak the language of your brain.
Yeah, because in the article, they were talking about it can even give the sense of touch,
Yeah.
which is So that means we've got to have, I mean, I know I'm not saying our brain surgeons are stupid or neural, I'm just saying that, there's parts of our brain that we still have not figured out
No,
yet.
of course not.
So,
Oh, no, and the thing is, it's because it's not the same between two people.
No.
That's the other thing. From the day you're born, and, hat tip to Meatloaf, who passed away this last week. But from the day you're born, your brain starts to individuate from any other brain. The neuroplasticity of your environment, what you brought in and how you respond to it, creates a unique brain that is only yours.
Right.
And so trying to find things that work across the spectrum is difficult. And I think what he's going to be doing here is, here's the thing. We're talking about using this with people who are, developmentally challenged, disabled,
or have been
whatever the word
or
is
suffer TBI.
Okay, yep. And
traumatic brain injury, sorry, I shouldn't have used it.
And they are moving, to the point where this kind of technology is going to be probably desirable for gamers. Because if you can go in there and you can feel the game, and you can put on your goggles, and you can control the game and the environment with your mind,
right?
You're talking about the ability to, bypass the joystick. And with everything going the way it is, with Meta and all of the new virtual world coming up, I see where this is going to be. The last time we talked, there was the guy who built the
haptic suit.
Yeah, the haptic glove for $60. Well, imagine now you don't even need the glove because it's inside your head.
So this could actually be able to, if you have someone that is paralyzed or, even if it's just they don't have their hands, but they have their feet.
Sure.
That means you could put them in virtual reality, and virtual reality be controlled movement-wise from the chip.
That would be the easiest way to do it. Then they get more complicated as they try to make actual prosthetics that function. But the thing is, you can practice in the virtual world, with your stuff. You don't need to practice with the actual device. You can, because it can then train, and then all it has to do is download the training, particular algorithm that it discovered from your virtual training into the actual chips and devices so that they are then controlled manually. It's an incredible way to interface, and now we're getting into stuff like Avatar. Dances with Smurfs, that movie?
The Blue Monkeys?
There you have it.
That's what I call it.
I love that movie. But now you're working into that realm.
Yeah, because that kid was paralyzed from the waist down.
Yep.
But inside this virtual reality or this alternate reality, he was able to...
Yeah, he was able to embody the donor cloned body, okay, and through that interface, able to run it. And, but now you're getting into the thing where, okay, so you got this chip in your head, and it's able to control your prosthetics or maybe even your body, okay, and what if somebody hacks it? Wow, that's scary.
Damn, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy if you think about it.
We are going into a world that's just absolutely beyond imagination at this point. So there's that fun.
Well, all right. So I'm gonna jump over the WhatsApp thing because I really don't care about that. Fourth M1 chip with 12-core CPU may arrive in the updated iMac Pro. Does that mean that the chips are getting made faster?
I think Apple's making their own chips. I think they're updating them faster.
So this is
because they're making them. They're able to update them that much faster.
So I read a story.
Yep.
Actually, I saw it on the Science Channel.
I didn't know you could read.
I know it is my Hooked on Phonics show. Finally,
I'm just quoting.
I'm halfway through, and it's not the fact that the actual chips themselves are the problem. It's the smaller pieces and components that make up the rest of the motherboard. Yep. That is where we're having a bigger problem now. We're getting the chips.
But like rare earth elements and things like that having to come in, because all those are being mined in China, basically.
Right.
And so if we're having trouble getting stuff in, There goes the ability to make the chips, because it's like you can have a chip factory, but it doesn't do any good if you don't have any potatoes.
Well, I mean, it's not even. I'm talking aside from aside from the chips themselves.
Right.
Other pieces on the motherboards that are actually that make everything fully functional are that's some of the stuff that we're having. Yeah, that's what we're having problems with. That so there is a chip shortage per se. But in the bigger scheme, it's not just the chips anymore. Now, it's pieces and parts on the boards themselves that are going, hey, we can't get this. It's great that we got a chip. It'll sit right in there, whole 9 yards. But the rest of the stuff we can't find.
Yeah, we can't get a power supply. We can't
Right.
Okay.
So that's...
Yeah. And again, there's now like 110 ships off the coast waiting to come in, and they're backed up all the way to Mexico.
Right. But having a 12-core CPU in the Mac world is freaking awesome.
That's insane. I mean,
that's huge.
I mean, I went through and I took my 2015 iMac, and I had Adam replace the memory in it, and he replaced it with a 2 terabyte solid state drive. And oh my God,
huge difference.
Oh my God,
huge difference.
I mean, the other one was barely even functioning relative to this thing. And it's lightning fast, and it's huge, and it's amazing. And
do you remember?
And that's already like 4-year-old technology.
Do you remember when dual core came out?
Yeah.
We thought we were badass. Man, I got dual. And then when the quad core came out, we were like, mine's blown.
Yeah, but
mine is blown.
A dozen core? We don't even have a word for that. Like a dough core really would be.
What is 12?
Dough.
Dough.
Wow.
Dough core. Dough. that's the Simpsons.
We'll just call it the Homer drive.
The Homer drive. Yeah, we got a Homer drive in here. The CPU is awesome, man. Dough. Anyway, sorry, we digress. Oh my God.
Too late.
But I mean, I wish my software that we have ran on Mac.
I know.
Because I would be a much happier camper.
I actually gave up all my software that wouldn't, so that I could just run on the Mac, because I get tired of the headaches.
Yeah, we can't stream. We can't stream on a Mac though.
Nope.
So even everybody goes, well, just put the emulator in there.
Exactly.
What is it, Boot Camp or something like that?
Well,
still won't work.
That's
sorry.
Wild.
It just
it's
doesn't.
Wild that it won't. Yeah.
Won't work that way. So
create a drive on it, and but. C'est la vie.
So here's something that I find very interesting is the UAE is banning all drones.
Yeah.
After the attack on oil facility and their airport.
Yes. And so, drones can do all kinds of crazy things. I mean, we saw a couple of weeks ago where some of them are, able to fire high caliber, rifles and so on now. But really just taking just about any size drone and bringing it in, you can put in some pretty decent explosives. And if you land something the size of a grenade on a pipeline,
done.
You're going to do some serious damage.
Yeah. Not that we condone that. Don't do that.
No, of course not. But now, I mean, there are other things you can do that. You could even just send in a regular drone that's just got a pinger on it and use it as a targeting device, and then send in a much larger missile that you want to hit. And you don't even need to have eyes on the ground. All you need to do is get the drone there, and then boom, you're done.
So I watched, again, once, being sick, I got to watch stuff. And I watched some old Jamie and Adam videos. The... golly gee, Mythbusters, right?
Yep.
And they did one, and I had forgotten they had done one. They had done one about drones.
Yeah.
And will they really kill you, right? Because the myth was if one hits you just right in the jugular, right, you're going to die. You're going to bleed to death, right?
No, they could barely break a water balloon.
And so the only one that they could get to break, because they did their gel mold, the whole 9 yards, and they had, and I love it. Adam put all the little tubes in there to look like blood and all that kind of stuff, right? And they flew like one like I have right here, right? Yeah. And then they had a bigger one that they used for. It's not the ones that you can go buy off the shelf. You buy the pieces in parts, right?
Right.
And then they had their big one which has a running rig on it, which is what they use for video for the show itself. Mm-hmm. So they flew that one in there, bounced off like
Oh, yeah.
Like it wasn't even there. And then then their bigger one, even the bigger one,
Yeah.
bounced off. Because the blades are made to not tear into skin.
No, the blades are made to shatter.
Right.
And they do, and that's why.
Well, no, actually, the ones they show, the ones I got, one of the bigger ones was like my DJI, the big in there.
Yeah.
And it just folds. It just turns into, but this one right here, like they're showing, they're going to take this one, not this one,
Well,
but
no,
this
that
is
one's
actually the
useless
episode I
because it
watched,
has
right?
guards on
That
it,
one right
yeah.
there. If you take the blades off
Yeah.
and stick it on a pole like he did here, you can make it cut. But you have to sit there and just kind of finesse it in to make it work, right? So it really,
I guess you gotta go really lightly, because if you hit with any speed, those blades are just going to
well, that's what he did. Very slowly, they pushed in. I could do that all day long, right?
Sure.
But what the myth is if it goes and it hits you, it will cut you. Well, it won't.
No.
It just folds over, bends over, drops down. Now their big one, that one done some damage to you.
Yeah.
It would, but it's also if you don't see
you don't
that
want to take
thing
it in
coming,
the eye. You don't want to, and any of that stuff on the smaller ones.
No,
okay?
absolutely not.
But in this case, it's a. You don't need to have the blades or anything do any damage. You just put a really nice payload on it.
Right.
And let it go boom.
Right.
With a remote detonator, and you're done. And that's what happened. So what they did was they grounded basically all drones in the country. And you're thinking, oh my God. But then you got to look at the United Arab Emirates is the size, it's just a little bit bigger than South Carolina.
Right.
Okay, it's about the size of Maine. It's smaller than Indiana. It's not a very big area. It's like 32,000 square miles. And, so when you look at something the size of South Carolina, you go, okay, so you're just grounding all drones in South Carolina. Well, that's not unreasonable, especially when you look at the way the UAE is geography, basically. It's a coastal country, and it's all flat.
Right.
And so there's your ability to fly a drone is significantly enhanced by the flatness of the terrain.
Right.
You can fly much further and get much better signals. So they have to basically down everything at that point.
I can see it.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
Yep.
But it does show you that drones can be either a great tool or they could be a great hindrance.
I can kill you with a screwdriver.
I don't even need that. I can use a piece of paper and take you out.
1,000 paper cuts.
If I do it right. So.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point. Anything can be used as a weapon. Anything can be weaponized. And so.
And if you're MacGyver,
the man
sky's the limit,
with a
man.
paperclip.
There's nothing he can't use to pretty much take you out or get out of an awesome situation.
And I'm all for that one.
I loved MacGyver. So let's jump over to Solana.
Yeah.
They suffer a network instability in a brutal week for crypto.
Yeah, crypto was already having a bad week. The U.S. Treasury came out and said, hey, we're thinking about making a crypto coin. And,
did they really?
Yeah. And
so
it made all the crypto coins everywhere go, and like Bitcoin itself, is at a 6-month low right now on this news.
So now's the time to buy?
Competition. Yes, it is now a lower risk.
Now's the time to buy.
Just go on your Cash App. You can buy it right from there. But then the interesting thing was, at the same time, they're having a server issue.
Uh-oh.
And talk about compounding errors, so things weren't running as fast as they should have.
Right.
And so what happens, it looks like people were mashing the button several times to confirm their purchases or sales. So now they're getting multiple duplicate orders on things. And so it's doubling, tripling the traffic to the thing that was already having problems. It's like, don't keep hitting the button, folks. Okay, it doesn't make crap happen.
Well, isn't it?
You know what? It's the same thing at the crossing light, because you keep hitting it. It doesn't think there's more pedestrians waiting to get across the street.
No, it does not.
It's like once is all it takes, and if you miss it, then you need to learn how to press.
So basically, it's just like when you do a credit card purchase on Amazon or PayPal or whatever, it'll tell you, don't click it, but one time.
Yes,
because if you do
not.
You're going to buy more than one.
Yep. Exactly.
So
And
people were
that's
buying.
what it looks like. I mean, that's my guess, reading the press release and knowing humans and how they respond when they're panicking. So Bitcoin's going down. So like, oh my, I'm going to go sell my Solera. And they're in there trying to run that system.
Well, I mean,
and
according
it's
to
just
this,
stop it.
according to this, it plummeted 30% in the past 7 days.
Yep.
So it lost about $1 trillion.
Yep.
And Bitcoin is almost 50% from its November record.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I mean,
that's a big hit, I have to say.
it was. And
I'm not in it, but
I mean, and the smart thing to do was, you sell into the downswings. Okay. I mean, you never want to try and catch a falling knife, but, watch it.
here, let me grab that.
Yeah. But, you watch it, pick up on the lows, okay, and then pare back. And, pare back some of your gains when you get up, because you got to make sure it doesn't become too big a percentage of your net wealth.
Right.
Pull that stuff out and put it into other stuff. And so if you were doing that all along, you're in great shape. You banked on the highs, and now you're watching it again going, let me go ahead and throw some more money in there.
Right.
It's a lower risk entry point is really what it is. Because if you had those profits, then you bring them back in, you buy back in now with some of that money that you pulled out in November.
Right.
That's years of financial advising coming back to the front.
So here's this next article that and I have been preaching this forever, is now is a good time to update your recovery email addresses. Because so many people I've seen, like, they'll call me, hey, I can't get into this. I don't know. Well, what's your recovery email? I don't know.
I don't know, or
What
I
do you
don't
mean
have
you
that
don't
anymore.
know?
That was a job I had 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Or I let that website, email address go, and now we have no access to it.
I have one email that I'll have probably for the rest of my life.
Yep.
That is always my
Your backup.
email.
You got it.
Always. I don't use that one to sign up for junk email either.
Nope.
I have an email for that.
Nope.
Right? But it's like, I can't believe that people don't.
Yep. And it doesn't matter if it's a Gmail or a Yahoo or whatever you want it to be, okay? But just stick it out there and hold on to that one.
Unless it's AOL.
As your
Change that AOL.
But hell, I have an old MSN that still works. But this is really good advice. I love the fact that with WordPress right now, if you log in, it will prompt you on a regular basis. Is this still your backup address? Yep. And it's like, thank you. That's it's not just go change your password because it might be
Twitter does the same thing. LinkedIn does the same thing. Facebook has started, I've noticed. Rumble does it.
Yeah.
And so does YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a good idea. I mean, just confirm it. Make sure it's the right one. Make sure you still have access to it, because something's going to happen. Somebody's going to try and hack your account, and they're going to shut off that email address that you have on the front end. So how are you going to get in the back end?
Yeah, I have a ton of friends that are they text me personally and said, don't accept that Facebook request.
Yeah.
I said, uh-oh, you got hacked? I said, yeah. I said, it's time to go and change all your information.
A lot of people are calling that hacking. A lot of times it isn't. Okay.
So what is it?
Doing is, I could go on Facebook right now and I could create an account called John Gaston. And I could grab your pictures, and I could grab some of your history, and I could go grab your friends list. Okay? And then I could run down and start messaging all of them going, hey, by the way, and do friend requests to them. All those people that you're already friends with. And they're like, oh, what happened? I guess we weren't friends anymore. And they just line in. Nobody's hacking you. You're not technically hacked.
No,
you're being
cloned. You're cloned because they didn't get into your system. They're just emulating your system.
Exactly. They're cloning you, and they're copying you're going down the friends list and saying yes, 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 because you have a public friends list. And so that's how you can do it.
So go in and set your public list to not
private.
Public.
Yeah.
So they can't see your friends.
Yep. That would be the only.
I don't have any, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, really. I got one follower, and that's it's my dog.
And what was the guy that owned? What was the guy that owned MySpace? Dave, Mike, Bob, whatever.
Yeah.
He's my only friend.
He's your only friend, MySpace. I'm still on MySpace.
He followed me. He followed me over to Facebook.
I even have a MySpace account. I kind of skipped that whole thing.
I do have one.
I started with Facebook. Was my first social media platform.
We're getting down here, so we're going to jump over to. I'm going to pass on the COVID test thing. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Because like the one is why rapid COVID tests aren't more accurate.
God knows we'll probably get banned if we talk about it.
Yeah,
so
heaven forbid that. So some Starlink customers say SpaceX customer service is non-existent. Nearly 1 year after paying a $100 deposit and receiving no updates.
Well. What update do you want? It's not available. There's your update.
But there is some places that is available.
Sure.
So,
but not where you are. So you don't need customer service.
Well, no.
You need prospect service, which means go to the link and see your update.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to contact you. You don't need to call anybody.
So
I mean, it's like boom, you're done. And so, I mean, I see where Elon's coming from. I mean, this hand-holding, you need a safe space for your, customer service issues. I'm like, come on, like this is science. It's not, we're not really interested in, I'm sorry. And I'm big on marketing and helping people after you actually have the, product relationship with them. But right now, these are people who put a $100 deposit on something.
Oh, that would be like me giving the $200 deposit on the Elon's truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Going, hey, where's my truck?
And and wanting to be able to call somebody to find out where your truck is.
Why is my truck not here yet?
Just
come on, Elon.
And look at the
I want my truck,
updates.
man.
Okay, this is it.
Drop that thing off. Come on.
And I mean, and you'd think SpaceX customers would be more tech savvy, that they'd be like, let me just find out for myself. But apparently, there's a number of them that are like, "There's no service." And
well, it's not even they're not even service. They're not even. They can't. There's no one even call and say, "Hey, by the way, do we have an updated time?"
That's just it. There's nobody to call.
Well, there should be someone to call. There should be a number. There should be a
website where you can go look up.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's my zip code. Here's my address.
Oh, my estimated time now is
here's
this.
Boom, that's it. But that's not customer service.
That is customer service.
But it's not people. So, and I think that's.
But that would be customer service. If I'm going to, if you want to see our television shows, and I didn't put a schedule up, and I didn't put a time up, and people wanted to see what time a show started, my good customer service would be, I need to put up going, hey, the show shows at this time. Even if he goes in and puts a website and says, oh, you're in Tallahassee, it'll be next month, or it'll be next year. Whatever. At least some kind of information is good information. I don't know what's out there. I'm not using them, so I don't know. But to me, it's, but people are asking for their $100 back. Well, okay. Pretty sure you're not going to hurt Elon Musk by asking for your $100 back.
Well, he's only got $300 billion.
I know. He could probably give everybody in the country $100 and it wouldn't hurt him. So there you go. Right. But look. Be patient. Patience is everything, right? Now, I didn't do this. I'm not sure who I think you may have. Jetpack discovers backdoor in popular WordPress themes and plugins.
I didn't put that in there, but I am definitely going to address it. For a lot of this one company, okay, and I pulled up the stats on it, okay?
Yeah.
And it's Access Press. And there's lots of people out there that they put in free themes, and you can go ahead and get their themes, and it looks great, and you build a theme, and life is wonderful. For a lot of them, it's tough. You really want to, steer clear. There are a couple big companies out there that are doing them, but for the most part, you don't even really need a theme anymore, other than a base theme like Hello or Astra, I think, is one of the bases that do nothing. They have nothing. There are no features. The problem with the themes that this company was putting out, Access Press, was that they had some built-in features that gave back-end access to developers. And that's a real issue because it ended up being a giant hack portal into the back end of your website. Because it's in the theme, it has access to every single layer of your website.
Oh.
I think, I just looked over the names of their stuff. And one of the biggest ones was Parallax Blog. And
Parallax?
Yeah, Parallax is that neat effect where the background and the foreground move at a slightly different pace as you scroll down.
No.
That's called the parallax effect. And that's one of the most popular looks that everybody was going through a couple of years ago. And the thing is, because this is kind of a like, hey, we're gonna have free website of the month club, kind of crap. What you ended up with was this stuff wasn't being supported. It wasn't being backed up. They weren't updating it properly. And at this point, and they had a bunch of plugins that they would also, dump in with it.
Right.
So the plugins can be updated if, they're still updatable. So the plugins that were also part of the problem are available for updates, and they've been fixed. But the themes themselves, they're dead, and they need to go. So if you have any of the Access Press themes, don't be afraid to give us a call, okay? Because it's probably been a couple years.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So say I have an Access, right?
Yeah.
Which we don't. But
of course not.
if I have it, and all of a sudden I have all this problem, is that a start over?
It doesn't have to be. But what we need to do is we need to get in there, we need to kill it, and then we need to run some antiviral software.
Right.
Because you may well have already had the malware deposited on
Right.
the back end. And so and if that's the case, then we either go through a very expensive remediation procedure in order to excise the demons, or we have to go ahead and look at updating anyway. Now, if your site is that old, it's 2, 3, 4
Probably
years old,
needs to be updated.
You probably need to be updated anyway, because there's so many things now that have changed, and they are so much better. And okay, here's a crazy one. How many of you small business owners out there have the cookie disclaimer on your website? You're like, well, I don't sell anything. I don't do anything. I'm not collecting anything. Wrong answer. Okay? Because it's amazing how much of the back end of your website is actually doing that. And you're like, yeah, but I'm not selling into Europe, so why do I have to put the Europe thing? Oh, yeah, but if somebody in California might see your website. California mandates it as well.
I don't.
So
We got to look at my website. I don't think we
do.
have
I
that.
just found this out on Friday. Okay, California is also requiring it now, and so I'll get that taken care of on all of our sites.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know
I've
what?
got a
Now that
really nifty-
now that you
yeah.
say that, I have a couple of clients that have GoDaddy accounts at websites, and there's ask you
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. And so because they're
How
in
about that?
California. So actually,
No,
California's in
Texas.
Arizona. Yeah, Arizona.
Oh, I thought they
Arizona.
were out west.
Yeah.
They're out west.
They're out there.
Howdy,
Who
partner.
cares? But so that is that's the nature of this beast is, themes. Everybody's getting away from, and because they need to be updated and monitored. And I mean, I had one client, his theme hadn't been updated in 4 years, and it's like, and it wasn't that he didn't update it. The theme itself was retired. It was gone.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't even available anymore. And so he's still running on this theme, and things are starting to not work. And I'm
Right.
like, you're lucky that's your only problem.
Right.
Okay? Because this data is so old, and it's open source at this point.
Right.
This is like a huge backdoor into your website. So he was just one of the lucky ones. But we got him switched over, and your website doesn't even have to change its look. With the new stuff, we can build to look exactly like it is.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot of fun with this stuff. But that's what needs to happen there.
Unlike Rob, our producer,
Yes.
who loves taking robocalls. I mean, he totally loves it. I mean, he plays right into them and messes with them the whole 9 yards.
In his
But
in his horoscope that would be his
Annoyed by robocall? Do you take them? I mess with them every now and then. If I have time, I'll sit down and I'll answer it.
I absolutely avoid it because two things are happening. Number one, I'm being annoyed and losing time, and time is something I don't have right now. And number two, somebody on the other end of that phone call, is being paid and is looking to make a commission off somebody, and I know damn well they're not going to make a penny off me. So I kind of feel
I
like
never
I'm
thought
hurting
about it
the
that
live
way.
person.
Yeah.
But when I pick up the phone and I answer it, and it's silence, I immediately disconnect, because that means it's a robo-dialer. And it's waiting, because they have a call center of people waiting to be connected, and they're being paid $8 an hour or whatever it is,
Right.
to be able to connect it to your call. So if you answer it, and you've got more than like 1 or 2 seconds of silence on the other end, usually when you're answering, you have to say hello a couple times.
Right.
Okay, before they actually know you're there. And that's cool and groovy.
I got to tell you where your camera is.
I know. Well, you keep changing the angle, Rob.
That's what Rod does, man.
And so...
He's messing with you and robocallers.
Now I'm back. So the robo-dialer will then forward your call to somebody.
Right.
And that's why sometimes you'll pick it up and it'll disconnect. It's because the forwarder didn't work.
Right.
Or it'll pick it up, it'll be a really long one because nobody's actually available. That's when you know you've got pure robo-dialer, okay, and just disconnect. Excuse me, because one of the other issues is when you answer, you prove it's a live number.
Oh, got it.
And so avoiding those things as much as possible.
Well,
it's like replying to spam email saying, click here if you want to be removed. It's like, whoa, hey, guess what? We found out this is a real email address that somebody's actively checking. Congratulations. So although we're going to remove you from that list, we're going to add you to 10 others.
Right.
Yeah. So,
well, Florida did a new law
yes,
that makes it easier to sue them. I mean,
yes.
Here's the thing. If you know it's robo and you answer it, you can't sue anybody.
Well, the problem I have is these guys are spoofing phone numbers in my neighborhood. And if my dog is out and I get a phone call from a local number, I'm going to answer. Because too many times it's people calling from his collar. Okay?
Right.
Oh, well, back before he passed away. But,
right.
that was the thing. And so I would be watching for a call from my local neighborhood. But, sometimes it's like, is this the vet office? Why are they calling me? And and it isn't.
Right.
They're
and it's same thing for text,
number.
too. Same thing in text.
Now, the key to really being able to easily identify the robocaller for me is if the exchange comes up the same as mine. That's when I know it's fake.
Well, my wife calls me and the exchange comes up.
Right. Because it's your wife, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but if I get anything else from my exchange, I'm almost guaranteed, because I actually got my phone down in St. Pete. And so it's like it's got a St. Pete exchange. So anybody spoofing a St. Pete exchange, I know what it is right away.
Right.
They're just totally spoofing my number, trying to make me think it's in the neighborhood.
Got it.
So yeah.
But so I know there's an 800 number out there, but there's also a number if you can actually call the Department of Agricultural.
Yes.
And agricultural, so if you want to put your name on the list,
on the do not call list,
they have an extension to go there and put your name on the list.
Right. The do not call list has been in place for decades
and
now.
No, do not text as well.
Yeah. Now there's a do not text list. But what this law has done is said, no. It's not just the state that's going to make money when they do this to you, which is what happens. I mean, you want to talk about a moneymaker? It's like, it's a $10,000 fine for calling someone on the do not call list. Thank you, and we're really sorry you were annoyed over there, Mr. Citizen, but we got 10 grand now.
Right.
Okay, and it's like, I'm the one that was harmed here.
Right.
Okay, well, now Florida took it one step further, and they said, yeah, that's not how that's going to work. If you're actually, annoyed, damaged, harmed, whatever, you couldn't use your phone, it's being disrupted in any way, you have the ability now to sue these people, as well as them getting the fines. Okay, for harassing you is what it's boiled down.
Don't harass us.
Yes.
So here's the last thing we're going to talk about: PlayStation. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Microsoft gobbled up Activision.
Yeah, I mean
that's crazy.
And I mean, couple things here. You're talking about what was it? A 45% premium on the price over the close price on a certain day that was already up like 29% on the rumors.
Right.
And it's not even a stock swap.
No.
Holy crap.
Because
the price wouldn't matter on a stock swap that much. Okay,
right.
Because it's like, okay, well, you might get more Microsoft stock. Woo! But it's a cash deal. Holy crap.
$68.7 billion in cash.
And it was only $35 billion at the beginning. Okay, but then the price went up and up and up, and so it's like, oh my God. So they really got whaled on with the cash deal price. And the funny thing is, there was even an agreement breaking penalty of $3 billion.
Right.
If I think if Microsoft didn't go through, it was going to cost them $3 billion anyway. So the
just
whole
to
thing,
entertain the idea.
Just to entertain the idea. And when you look at it, here was Blizzard going through all this stuff, and here was Microsoft thinking they're going to pounce on them because they just went through all the harassment and inappropriate behavior and conduct and nasty bosses and all that crap that was like, oh no, they're going to die, so it drives the price down. And then it jacked as soon as there was like news in the air that there was going to be a deal. It just went right back up to the roof again.
Right. Well, afterwards, their shares went down 1.9%.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But at that point, who cares?
Yeah.
Okay, the cash deal price is already set. You're done. Have a nice day. And now you're buying Microsoft shares at that point because Microsoft's going to pull it in and retire all the stock.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to retire. Speaking of retiring.
Yeah, speaking of retiring, a lot of guys who worked at Blizzard and so on, who are the subject of these, investigations and allegations and accusations, are also going to retire very, very well right now.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it'll make the games better.
I'm just hoping that that if you need help in the middle of a game, you can press a button and Clippy shows up.
Because
I Microsoft
love Clippy.
now runs the show.
I love Clippy. Clippy was awesome.
That would just be awesome to have Clippy.
Ask Clippy.
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh my God, that's too funny.
Oh my God.
We didn't have that in Macworld until
Siri.
Yeah.
Now
Siri's now Clippy.
Siri.
Yeah.
But
this has been a good show.
It's been a fun show.
We had a lot of good entertainment there, and we had a lot of good articles. I think it's good
going in deep on some of this stuff.
Yeah, and if you're looking for the articles,
we need more than just the headlines. Right. Them.
Yeah, we put the articles out there for everybody to see, so that way you can go get you. Don't take our word for it. Just go go read them. No. And some of them have video.
Go read the fake news that we read.
Right, exactly.
Real too.
And we are going to go back. So we've had a lot of emails about us going back to our older format where we actually give solid information about certain, because some people are like, why did he stop giving marketing things? I'm like, well, because we started getting waylaid with the amount of stuff that was out there, and we're not touching a lot of stuff, and people will go, why didn't you touch this? Like, I wanted to jump on how people can tag onto your phones accidentally. I have a buddy that he keeps getting a life alert, trying to find the life alert thing. Mm-hmm. And it's because he was somewhere and someone's life alert, the RFID thing, got tagged into his phone somehow, which could have been really super close. And now that person's his phone's like, I can't find that life alert. Where'd it go?
Wow.
Now, that could someone have hacked his phone, but I'm telling you, I read a story where the RFIDs are getting confused now. Yeah. And it's like little tracker fobs.
Yeah, there's only so many signals you can program.
Right, and eventually something's going to tag on to somebody else. Anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Hopefully, Adam will be back next week, and we'll get some good techie news in there for the computers. So, TechShamans@WeBeamTV.com if you want to talk to us. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a techie week.
Bye, everybody.
Shamans, we understand, cause we are the Tech Shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.